Welcome to Caught Off Guard. I'm Jessie Zarelli, and this is a show about the moments that hit us out of nowhere and where that's usually where life gets a little interesting. Each episode, we dive into the gut decisions, chaos, intuition, and curveballs that end up rerouting us, often more authentically than any grand plan we had. You'll hear from a range of people who have all been caught off guard in their own way, and how those moments push them somewhere they didn't expect but ultimately needed to go. Okay, now let's get started. Hello, happy May. I'm going to keep this intro pretty brief because there's a longish episode coming. Wow, we've made it to May. Did anyone else have an absolutely insane April, or was it just me? I keep hearing people call May Magnetic May, Miraculous May, Miracle May, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, what else could possibly happen? This month, I feel like I've been walking around going, this is the craziest month of my life. I've been having life-changing experiences, but I'm not explaining it, and I think it's starting to piss off the people in my life. But that's okay. I'm going to continue that trend, and I'm not going to explain. I'm just going to say that things have shifted for me this past month in a way that I have never experienced before. I will even go as far as to say things have shifted so much in the last 3 weeks, like it's only 1 week less, in the last 3 weeks in a way that I've never experienced before. It feels like time is not as relevant to my life as it used to be. Like I'm operating in a place that's more impacted by energy than time. It's very difficult for me to even think about like what happened a week ago, or that was 5 days ago, or this morning. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really add up. And I've kind of stopped doing that. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that was a week ago. I also just realized how uncute I look. I just came from Run Club. This is what I'm wearing, an oversized black t-shirt, whatever. And my hair not done and zero makeup on, but you know, this is what it is now. I also actually don't wear that much makeup anymore. But anyway, it has been a really wild ride in the most incredible way. It's been interesting too to kind of read what's going on astrologically and see how, you know, a lot of people are being thrown for a loop and they're feeling the intense energy in the air, but they don't really know what to do with it. And I was thinking about that. Why have I not felt that? Why have I felt the intensity of this last month, but I haven't been afraid by it? And then I realized that it's because I've been letting go and I've been trusting. And I've been talking about this. I've been sharing a bit about this on my Instagram, just on stories mostly, about how letting go and trusting and believing in this way that I never have before is opening up my life in a magical, magical way. And I feel like I'm starting to understand these expansive concepts that I've never really been able to fully grasp before. And one of those is, you know, you believe it before you see it. That's been a big one. Another one has been having just a very high sensitivity to the way people word things. So the language that's used, hearing people share their beliefs, I feel very sensitive to like listening to people's limiting beliefs. And when I say sensitive, I don't mean that it's necessarily that triggering for me. I mean more of I'm able to really observe it. And that's really what it is. I'm observing it, but I'm noticing it more than I used to. So maybe it's less sensitivity and more of a heightened awareness. I think that's probably a more accurate way of describing that. But it's been a wild ride, man. And I love it. I really, really love it. I would say my biggest takeaway from the last few weeks has been, and I think I might have talked about this in the last episode because it was starting to percolate, but now it's like solid as rock or limestone or diamonds. Diamonds are really hard, right? Yeah, diamonds. And what that is basically how living in a delusional, I don't want to say delusional sounds so negative, but basically whatever energy you're living in can be changed into what you want it to be. So basically kind of understanding the way I'm co-creating my life in a way that I never have understood before. So that's probably kind of like the heightened awareness to what's around me. Also, just like feeling supported in this way that I never have before. and feeling like everything is working out for me. That has really been my mantra the last several weeks. Everything is working out for me. And really, really believing that. Really believing that. I don't know if I talked about this, but I have been dealing with a lot of, or I was dealing with quite a bit of hair shedding. The last couple years of my life, I had a very traumatic situation happen about 2 years ago, and a few months later, because your body can have a little bit of a delayed reaction to stressors. A couple of months later, it led to pretty significant hair shedding, which I sadly maintained for about 2 years on and off. And yeah, I noticed that, every time I would take a shower, I would look to see the clumps of hair in the shower. Every time I brushed my hair, I was very aware of how many hairs came out. I would pull on my hair to see if hair would come out. I would obsessively kind of like check my scalp and my pillow and, not my car seat, but I'm not that short. I don't have a car seat. But like the seat in my car, and just like really heightened awareness where it could be negative, heightened awareness of the hair around me. And then one day I just stopped doing that. And I was like, I think I'm done with this. I think I'm done with hair shedding, and I'm done with checking. And then all of a sudden the hair shedding stopped and the baby hairs started to come in. And then I was led to try, okay, actually, you know what? I think I want to start taking better care of my hair. Instead of waiting for the hair to grow in and the shedding to stop for me to invest in some nicer products, I think I want to start doing that now, which is part of also what has led me to this brand, Living Libations, which I am a whore for. I mean, I can't stop talking about them, but because they're fucking awesome. This company is so amazing. It is like, and even the reviews too, people are like, I feel so high vibe putting this on. That's how I feel using the products. It feels magical every single time I use them. But anyway, I started using their hair serum, or their hair oil, which has nettle in it. And I'll wear it at night, the night before a hair wash. And I've noticed the baby hair started coming in. I've noticed my hair has been feeling really thicker. I've noticed it's been shinier. It's been growing faster. I'm back to getting lots of compliments on my hair. People being like, wow, you're having a great hair day. I bought a pretty expensive boar bristle brush, and I've been brushing out my hair, and it's been extending how often I have to wash, like extending my wash days essentially. And it's been very shiny and feeling very healthy and strong. And just like I shifted my attention away from the anxiety and the lack of hair to an abundance mindset. I'm going to spend a little bit of money on hair products. I'm going to give it some TLC. When I'm shampooing, I'm being much more gentle. I used to be really harsh when I was shampooing too. And even like brushing my teeth, like I would do all these things really harsh, and now I'm being so much more gentle with myself, and I'm seeing everything flourish. And, these are lessons that you can apply to every aspect of life. It's come up with acting as well, like, being kind to yourself, giving yourself grace. All the lessons we learn for whatever topic it is applies to every other topic, right? So I don't really have all that many updates except these major life takeaways. I have rejoined a CrossFit gym near me. It's called Ascension Athletics. I absolutely love this gym. I have been bouncing around for the past year, doing a mix of running, Pilates, hot yoga, a little bit of pole here and there. I love pole dancing, and I'd like to start doing it more consistently, and then CrossFit. But I've been feeling like, especially the last couple of months, like I've been lacking a stronger foundation. And I've noticed when I'm lifting weights, I'm not able to go as hard as I was, which is fine. Like I've lost some muscle, right? But your body remembers it. But then I've also noticed that I've been compensating in different ways, like noticing how my abs aren't as strong as they used to be, and seeing my neck sort of like kick in with certain ab exercises, seeing and feeling soreness in my back because I'm not as strong. So I decided, you know what, let me like really focus on CrossFit for the next month, lifting heavy. The gym I go to too, it's one of the best CrossFit gyms I've ever been to. I was also obsessed with my gym in LA, DEF CON Athletics, shout out. It's an incredible gym. And this gym as well is also wonderful, and there's so much attention, and they correct you as needed so that you don't get injured, which is really important. And sadly, not something a lot of CrossFit gyms do, which is really weird, but whatever. So anyway, I'm back there and I've been going, I've gone several times in the last week. I'm already feeling tired, right? Because I knew this too, like, okay, my body's going to have to readjust to lifting, really heavy weights and doing this really intense workout every single day. But I feel really good, and I feel like this very much felt like a smart decision for me for kind of like my future strength building too. I've been trying to, just get, like I said, the foundation, but also wanted to get in better shape too, missing, how yoked I used to be. But yeah, so there's that. I have been taking CBD every day. It has been wonderful. I feel like it has really calmed my cortisol. I feel really calm every single day. I feel like anxiety is no longer a part of my life, and it is really wonderful to live this way. To not deal with anxiety day to day and really be able to listen to your intuition, it is such a good life. It is such a good life. And then in terms of like products and stuff, well, okay, I'm also doing another TBM meetup for May. I can't wait. There's a member who is an instructor at Alchemy and Beacon. So we're going to go to her class and then have breakfast together. And I just love the community so much. It's growing. I am magnetizing more and more people to me who are part of the TBM community who didn't know that there was even a Hudson Valley meetup. And that has also been such a delightful surprise to just run into people and randomly find out someone's a part of TBM and they had no idea there was a meetup here. And I'm so grateful I took the leap to create that meetup. Yeah. And then, okay, Living Libations. Yes, this this brand that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I have also started to get a couple of their more, they have these there are these little glass tubes, like a jar, a glass jar. And I've gotten a few different colors, a few different shades that I think are really good for the changing seasons, like the spring and the summer. I've also started using a lot of their oral products. So they have this, I think it's called Happy Gums. It's basically like an essential oil almost that you can put on your gums. You can also put it on your toothpaste. You could mix it into mouthwash, or you could do what I've been doing, which is I dab it on my finger and then I rub my floss onto it, and then I'm able to get it in between my teeth. And it's just making my mouth feel so clean in a way that it never has before. It's kind of like, the cleanliness you feel after you get a dental cleaning. I kind of feel like that every single day, which is amazing. The toothpaste, I'm using the Triple Mint toothpaste. It's not cheap. It's $25 for a toothpaste, but you use a teeny tiny amount. So it lasts longer than you think it does, but it's not cheap. Anyway, that's enough. I'll put some of these links in the show notes. So today's episode is an interview with me. I'm being interviewed, but I thought, why not? I was interviewed by someone named Jace. He runs the Single and Hungry Club that's mostly based out of Beacon, but he does events throughout the Hudson Valley and in the city. He creates these dating events for people. I would say they're probably mostly 30s, 40s, but I think 20s and up. They do different age ranges as well. He does speed dating and all different types of dating events. And I've actually met quite a few people who have gone to them and had really fun experiences and made some friends from it. So that's really great. We have a conversation that's a little ADHD, but that's okay. That's, on brand for me. I think we're both ADHD, so we bounce around a little bit. But I express some of my opinions on dating culture nowadays, which I think is kind of problematic. I also open up a little bit about my dating experiences over the last couple of years since, being single post-marriage, and what that means and what that looks like and how that's changed, how my values and interests have changed, my priorities and where my time goes has changed as well. It's very interesting to see yourself sort of change in real time. And I do have moments where I'm like, is that me? Wow, I can't believe I'm behaving or reacting this way, but I also love it. I love that I'm showing up as this person. It's pretty amazing. This is who I've always wanted to be. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the conversation. Like I said, it is a little all over the place, but I think there's some interesting information in it. And I really want to hear other people's opinions on dating culture. I would say one of my, not takeaways, but like my instincts about dating is that I think that when we're too hyper focused on something, we sort of lose the magic of it and we lose the potential experiences that could happen along the way when we're hyper fixated on the end goal, which, if you're dating and you're obsessively dating to the point of it being a hobby, maybe you're obsessing about an end goal of like finding your partner, right? But you might miss so much magic along the way. A really interesting person you'll meet who could lead to a job or a hobby or a new best friend or a new work experience or like there are just so many things that can happen. And when you kind of take your focus off it needing to end up a certain way, you allow things to unfold in a really beautiful way. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoy and talk to you soon.
On this episode of Single and Hungry Club, I'm with Jessie. Hi, Jessie. Are you
Hi.
single and hungry?
I am open to receiving all the goodness that comes to me.
Tell me more about that. What type of goodness that comes to you? Does it include food, roses, flowers? What kind of goodness?
Definitely flowers. Yeah, maybe not roses, but flowers. Well, when we met, and I was saying how when I think of hunger, like having like a real hunger for something, I equate to being starving, like there's desperation tied to it. When I say I'm open to something and open to receiving goodness, I am allowing things to come in without controlling them and without feeling like without them, I'm not whole or unhappy.
Okay, that makes sense. And really ties into Single and Hungry Club because it's really about you first. Everything else follows.
Yeah.
Relationships are nice, but you have to prioritize yourself and then everything else comes. That's the mantra that everyone should live by, to be honest.
I agree.
Even in a relationship.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. I think that just everything in life is a mirror for you. And it's very easy to hyper focus on the thing you're trying to obtain. But really, the path is to bring the focus back to you. And then your reality gets mirrored back.
I agree, and I like that as well. Have any of your relationships been overpowered by one side or the other?
Like being too focused on them.
Yes, you being too focused on them or they being too focused on you and there was no balance.
I like attention and focus, so that's hard for me to say.
See how she looked at the camera for that one? Say it again one more time.
I like attention, and it's hard for me to say if someone's focused on me too much. But yeah, I've had an imbalance in my relationships, like specifically in parts of my marriage. I would say my first marriage, and that does not lead to anywhere good. You have to bring the attention back to you. And I think to what you were saying before, even when you are in a relationship, a long-term relationship, you can always, check in with the energy and where your focus is and just bring it back to you. I think that also kind of leads to the art of detachment,
Yes.
when you're more focused on you and you don't need this thing to be a certain way.
And definitely talk more about that because detachment versus attachment is way more healthy relationship-wise. And a lot of people don't know the difference and don't have boundaries set. And that's a whole nother conversation as well. Circling back, though, you said your first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You've only been divorced once, or have you had multiple divorces?
No, I've had one marriage.
One marriage, one divorce.
But it was the first.
Gotcha.
There will be another.
Yes, there will be. When? When do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Neither of us know. No one knows. You have to be patient as being a single person and have hunger for just the right things, and it'll come along when we least expect it. That's what
100%. 100%. When you are not expecting it, actually, when you're like, you know what? I don't even think I need that thing anymore. It's like, boop, there it is. It just appears out of nowhere. That is the art. The art of detachment, though, is
a little Houdini stuff. Okay.
The art of detachment is difficult to explain concepts, right? Because everyone processes information very differently and they might miss like little nuances to it. But I would say detaching means that your worth and your happiness is not attached to the outcome. So when you're detaching from something, you're instead going, oh, I don't need that thing in order to feel XYZ. I can just choose to feel XYZ. And so the work is in training yourself to feel those emotions without needing the thing.
Now, how do you tie that to a person? So you said that thing. Now, how do you separate that from a physical thing? Touch, for example, what is your top love language?
My top love language?
Yes, out of the 5, I believe there are.
I mean, quality time is very important.
So we'll stop right there, especially with quality time. How do you balance it out from not actually having that person? How do you detach from not having that person to have that quality time with?
Oh, good question. Okay. I would say that if your life is centered around you, then they become an element in your life, right? So you can enjoy quality time with them. You can also enjoy quality time with your friends. You can enjoy your workouts. You can enjoy your work. You can enjoy solitary time, being with your pets.
Yes.
If you don't need, right? If you get happiness and fulfillment from the quality time with that person, that feeling you can recreate from different areas of your life.
Quality time with self. You create that.
Totally. Yeah.
By also creating sanctuary and kind of really just task things that you enjoy. There's a lot of things that we enjoy by ourselves that we also enjoy with a partner.
Yes.
And we have to find the solace in when we don't have the partner to still enjoy those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for a lot of people too, there's a struggle or a challenge with enjoying doing things on your own because of course, it's not the same. Like, I'm not going to bullshit anyone. Can I say bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to bullshit anyone and say, go to the movies by yourself or out to dinner. It's the same thing. It's not the same thing as going with a partner. You don't have someone to make jokes with or observations or little inside jokes or touchies or whatever, but you can still choose to enjoy your solitary time. And I think that when you can enjoy your solitary time, you really, really appreciate being with someone when you finally meet that person, but you don't have to be with them all the time because you've learned how to enjoy your alone time.
And you couldn't have said it any better than that. You have to learn how to be by yourself before you're with someone. And we should learn that at earlier ages.
I agree. I have had this conversation many times with people, especially with women, just coming from the female perspective, which is I feel like our culture is really obsessed with like finding your partner.
The Disney culture.
The Disney culture, yeah. And then there's also, especially for women after, like I'm, mid-30s, around my age, you'll get to a point where you're single and people will be like, don't worry, you're going to meet someone one day.
And just like, what
yeah, like there's already this air of not looking down on you, but pitying you for being single. And I think that's so silly because there's probably no one I pity more than someone who's in an unhappy relationship.
Well, a flip on that for me in my head, how it just, from what you just shared, is I like, for a lack of way better words, that you've already been divorced because you should have a more
raises my value,
a better grasp of what you want, need, and you've been through a whole experience that I haven't been through. I wouldn't have mind getting married, even if I got divorced, sadly, because I learned from experiences, and we all should learn from them, and we can grow from them. So you going through I feel like that's a major life accomplishment, a major life experience to be married, to have the whole ceremony, someone got down on one knee for you, like that's an experience. So even though it didn't work out, I feel like you have more growth than me, a little bit more wisdom than me as well. In addition to maybe some trauma, maybe some pain, but that's a journey and a process that's continual for all of us.
Yeah, like the healing process of it.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, no one gets married and wants to get divorced. Exactly. Nobody wants that, but you kind of have the choice to alchemize any situation in your life. I mean, really everything is a choice in how you want to respond. And I chose to alchemize my experience and maximize my healing and not make it about him or the relationship, but make it about me and what needed healing inside of me.
I like to say that when I hear someone gets divorced too, I just say congratulations, and people are like, thank you, with no hesitation. I know the foundational aspect is for moving forward and moving on past it.
When we met, you said congratulations, and I said thank you.
Yeah, sounds like me.
Yeah, that's normally what I get. It's rare that someone says I'm sorry, and I'm like, don't be. It's totally fine. Yeah, I mean, going through a long-term relationship and then making the decision to end a relationship, you learn a lot about yourself in a very short period of time. I would say you're forced to, because I think that you would have to swim upstream in order to not gain all of the lessons from it, right? Like when you're going through any hardship in life, life reveals everything you have to learn. If it's a challenge, there's something to learn, because if there was nothing to learn, it wouldn't be a challenge.
Definitely.
It would be easy to leave, easy to wrap up, easy to go through the process. It was hard because I had to learn a lot. I think that my biggest learning from it too was all of the things I didn't want in a relationship and that I would never tolerate again. And I also think that it taught me even more detachment, but in a really healthy way.
Okay.
I think some people can lean into detachment where they get avoidant because they're so terrified of getting hurt again. And I did go through that part of the process, which I think was an important part of my healing process, which was being pretty avoidant and not wanting to get that close because I wasn't emotionally available. And then working through that, now being at a place of so open and so much love to give and really wanting and loving those close connections, but knowing that I'm okay on my own. And if things don't work out, I'm going to be fine because I've done it before.
Jesse first, everything else follows. What is your ideal first date in the Hudson Valley?
Well, that's a good question. Can I tell you what it's not?
Yeah, that's a good way to start.
It's not dinner.
Ooh,
it's
not dinner.
so boring. I don't want to sit across from someone I don't know and watch them eat and have them watch me eat. I have no insecurity about eating in front of people, but I want to do an activity with someone. So an ideal first date would probably be something in nature. Ideally, this first day is happening in the spring, summer, or fall.
No winter?
It's not happening in the winter.
When is your birthday?
July 7th.
Yeah, so summer baby through and through.
Yes, exactly. It would be outside in nature, maybe a nice walk, like the walkway over the Hudson, or maybe like a bike ride, or maybe an art class. That could be really fun too.
Art class, paint and sit?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
How about drawing someone nude together? Because that's popular around here. No, we won't be nude, or they wouldn't be nude. Wait, a nude model, because it's something I want to do. It's on my list. My friend does it.
You want to do the modeling or the drawing?
Actually, now that you said that out loud, I wouldn't mind a little combination.
Okay.
My friend does nude modeling, and they draw her, and then she has a nice little collection of her nude from various artists that are just local. So that's kind of cool.
I did it once years ago. Yes. And
experience.
It was great. I did it at Vassar College. It was a very positive experience, very freeing. Kind of don't know if I would do it again.
Do it again? Yeah, that sounds like a one and doneer. Let's see. What's wrong with men? Is there anything wrong with men? That wasn't on the list.
What's wrong with men?
If anything.
Oh my God.
Maybe there's nothing wrong with that.
It's such a general question. I'm also not of the camp of like men suck. Like I don't say shit like that. I think it's.
Thank you. As holding down men over here.
It's also, I'll say this. I don't know anyone. You're going to get messages about people who are the exception, but I don't know anyone who's in a happy, healthy relationship who just shits on men. All the women I know who shit on men do not have good relationships with men. And they might say, yeah, of course. But again, your reality is mirroring everything you say. And if you say men are terrible and men are awful, that's exactly what you're going to experience. I don't say that. I have other affirmations for how men treat me, and that's the experience I have in my life. So, but if I'm going to say like what issue men are having, I think that the issue is really in our culture and not teaching men how to feel their feelings or express their feelings. And I think that men are really sensitive. I think there's even been research to show like in preschool and below, like boys tend to be much more sensitive and emotionally reactive than girls, but they're just taught to suppress a lot of that. So I don't think it's really a men problem per se, more of like a society problem that's led to issues with men.
Mental health, societal pressures, those types of realms?
Yeah, like men have a tendency to maybe not be as social as women, like not have as big social groups. And since the pandemic, we've seen a real shift in how people are socializing and interacting with each other. And that's hitting men even more. That makes sense. Like women are finding community because we've been taught to do that. The sisterhood come together. And men, it's like if you get to a certain age and you don't like play a sport or something, where are you making friends?
Yeah, men don't have enough community, even running singles events. They are mostly women dominated. There's usually a good balance. I try to have them at my events, but women are going to buy tickets way before men do to anything, unless it's a sporting event. So it's always a challenge. And then when men and women get together, it still kind of usually falls into two groups like high school lunch tables, the skaters, the nerds. Men and women will also separate when it comes to even a dining experience that's social. The men will talk about their thing and the women will go married and unmarried. Single groups and also married groups. We'll do a little split. We'll go with the wives and the husbands go with the husbands type of thing, which I think is healthy, but also there needs to be a healthy mix of everyone commingling and discussing topics, children, and on the same plateau, so to speak.
Yeah, we need to be able to talk to each other.
Let's go to this. Everyone has had a bad date. What is your comfort food or comfort ritual after a bad date?
Yeah, I've never had a bad date. I've just not connected with people. So I've had a lot of really nice first dates.
Awesome.
Well, I've only done pretty minimal online dating, and my profile was kind of intense. I mean, I'm an intense person, but my profile was kind of intense, so I weeded out a lot of bullshit.
How so?
Well, on my profile, I did Hinge for a summer, and I answered all of these prompts that they have of, little stories. I had little tidbits about me, and on the part about like what you should know about me, or if I reach out to you, what I should know, I said, I will not initiate any conversation. I'm not messaging you first. And if you message me and say things like, you're cute, I'm not going to respond to you. And all I got were like really respectful, kind men who reached out to me and made really good conversations and just wanted to get together right away. I would say with everyone, I probably had like a little bit of banter, maybe 10 minutes or so, or like a day of messaging, and then we got together. But yeah, I'm not looking for, I have a lot of friends that send voice notes too. I'm not looking for like a digital pen pal.
Yeah, pen pal, buddy. Got you. Do you have a celebrity crush currently? Deep in thought.
A celebrity crush? I don't even know.
Okay. No. Do you have a real crush? Like a non-celebrity crush? Like that guy at the coffee store or the supermarket?
What guy at the supermarket? Oh.
The supermarket you go to. What's your go-to supermarket?
Adams.
Adams.
The average age there is like 58.
What's your biggest dating hot take, I guess? Like you said, you've had a lot of healthy dates at least. Well, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Because I've heard some horror stories.
I don't have horror stories.
But actually, how long have you been single since your divorce?
About 2 years. Not quite 2 years.
And your biggest dating hot take? I don't know. It's a popular term, so I want to see how you perceive that and how you answer.
Oh, okay. Dating hot take would be, is it like dating insight? Like that, like people are missing or something?
Like missing on the milk carton missing? What do you mean?
Okay, I'll say, here's where people are going wrong. First of all, you're spending way too much time on the apps. It's not a hobby. Whatever you're going to do should be intentional. My feedback to most people who are struggling with like online dating or meeting people would be to go out and live your best life. Even if you just take a month off and you put the attention back onto you and say there's things you're neglecting in your life, maybe like your health or your fitness or your sleep, or there's a hobby you really love that you're not doing, put your attention on you. You have no idea what it's going to lead to. And I think the more we get into alignment, the quicker things happen in our real life.
Talk about it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that answer. What's one thing you refuse to settle for now?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
Talk about it.
Okay, something I refuse to settle for. I think if we're talking about like heteronormative relationships, right? Like we're talking about the early parts of dating. I'll come from that aspect.
Okay.
If we're talking about heteronormative relationships, the early part of dating, I would say men make it very, very clear when they like you. There is no confusion. You don't need to analyze text messages with your friends. You don't need to put shit into ChatGPT or Google stuff. If your algorithm is changing on Instagram or TikTok, like that's a bad sign. It's very, very obvious if a man likes you and wants to be with you and is interested in pursuing you. There's no question. So I think where a lot of women get tripped up is they're like, well, maybe he's busy, or he just doesn't want to come on too hot and heavy, or, maybe he's still like figuring me out. Like, no, I think men know in like a second, maybe not a second, but they know very quickly if they would like to pursue something with you.
I don't know immediately. There's obviously immediate attraction level things.
Yeah.
But past surface level, I'm a little slower and more intentional, or actually the word would be patient. I'm not in a rush. Maybe I was when I was younger, but I'm not in a rush, especially if we live close, we have mutual friends. I'm going to get to know you from afar. Maybe that's my own traumas too, but without saying that I like you or making it intentional that I'm attracted to you, because just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean you have to act on it. That's something that I live by. Just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean you have to act on it. You can get to know them, and you have to know yourself first before you even express that attraction.
I love that. And I think it's so funny and so true how the older you get, technically the less time you have, but the more patient you get. When you're young, it feels like everything is so urgent and you're rushing and forcing. And that's how we get into bad relationships, because you might not, first of all, you don't know yourself as well in your like early 20s, but you might not care about certain things because you feel this like desperation to be with someone. The older you get, the more comfortable you become with yourself. You can sit back and relax. And you also know that things can change literally overnight. Your life can change overnight. And it has. Like, I've experienced that, like my life changing overnight. And it's not from trying to like force the thing.
This weather's not consistent, and we can just go to the cigar lounge. And we're back. On this episode of Single Hunt Club, we are talking about currently boundaries. Jessie, what are your healthy boundaries?
I would say my boundaries are about honoring myself. And so I don't think I have strict boundaries that don't change or evolve. It really depends on the person, the relationship, how I'm feeling.
Okay.
But what boundaries mean to me is that I honor myself and how I feel. So if I'm feeling like I need to leave an event early, then I need to honor that. If I'm feeling like I need a little more privacy or time alone, then I ask for that or I verbalize that.
I mean, the couples that lead the events together stay together. That's what I hear, at least.
Oh, okay.
So
That's good to know.
So you never heard that?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's a thing.
I was talking about even like if I'm socializing by myself.
Social battery.
Yes.
Limit.
And not pushing it because, oh, I have to be here because it's so-and-so's birthday, but just going, I'm exhausted. I need to leave.
Not that having your own internal clock or social clock for those things are definitely healthy. And that's a good boundary but yeah, boundaries are healthy. Having ones that are shared with your partner, that's also an alignment for me.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense too. My healthy boundaries have been just communication. I want to be asked, or at least make aware to the person that's asking me for help or wants to vent to me. Hey, are you in a good space to receive as well? So that's a big boundary for me, is after you get to know me, not everyone's going to have this mental awareness, so to speak, but make sure the person is good to receive a vent. Good to receive information from you. Some friends just spill information to me via text, and I'm doing 10 things, and then they get mad at you. Oh, that's what you just have to say, okay, in the text message. So boundaries is awareness, communication, and having it be balanced.
I see what you're saying. I think I understand more. I don't use the word boundaries a lot in my life. I feel like it's a very overused word, like even the word toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of it more as kind of like I said, honoring myself and listening to my intuition. And then, wait, what was the last thing you just said?
ADD brain. Boundaries, communication, talking to friends.
Oh, this is what I was going to say.
Yes.
I think less about boundaries and more about you teach people how you ought to be treated. And I know not everyone agrees with this. I've heard and seen people on social media say, you shouldn't teach anyone how to treat you. You shouldn't teach anyone what general respect and kindness are. But I do think we have to teach people how to treat us because they might not know. And you might have a boundary in your life that they don't and haven't run into, and they don't know it's a problem until you express that, right? So that's what I mean about I think it's so individual and so personal.
That makes sense. I think for me at least, boundaries is a combination of teaching people that and also setting them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good combination, a good healthy combination of the both of things that we said.
That's true. I agree. I also think that for me, like I dated someone who was constantly rubbing up against my boundaries.
How so? So name a boundary and then name an example of how they may have rubbed against.
Jokes. They would make jokes that I did not think were funny.
Oh, that's annoying.
It
sounds pretty annoying.
Really annoying. And at first, I think I didn't want to come off as critical. And I didn't want to come off as harsh. And I also probably didn't want to acknowledge that there was something I didn't like.
Okay.
Right? Because if you acknowledge you don't like something, you have to deal with that.
What is something that you felt like you've had to teach people about yourself that you've also learned about, in addition to what you've learned about yourself in the last 2 years?
Well, that's a big question.
Sorry.
Okay. We're switching from boundaries. Oh, I mean, leaving a long-term relationship, being a marriage, ending a marriage, you learn a million lessons and a million things about yourself. Well, I would say the biggest lesson I learned is in choosing myself over anyone else. So choosing myself over another person then led me to making all of these changes in my life because I was keeping this promise to myself, which is that I came first. And that I think can be really hard for some women because it can feel selfish or conceited. A lot of women are raised to be nurturers and very, lean into their motherly caretaker side. But I think that the healthier relationships I see come from
strong, independent woman.
Yes, exactly.
So you want to have a less of a codependency is your mentality now. And that's something that you said you've learned or you've just been more aware of.
Yeah, probably learned, like harnessed. Like I harnessed that and then it led to all of these other lessons that I needed to learn, right? Yes. A big one too that would kind of be like an offshoot off of that is expressing displeasure. Because I think it's really, really easy in a relationship to express all the things you like and love that are happening. That's really easy. It's really easy to love someone when they're happy and in a good mood. It's really easy to have a great relationship when you're on vacation in Mexico. But like, how are you getting through the more challenging moments? A lesson that I had to learn was being able to express displeasure or unhappiness about something, but still in a respectful way. So not really making it about there being something wrong with that person or criticizing or judging them, but expressing it from a place of how it impacts you emotionally. And I think that I've gotten much better feedback coming at it from that perspective too.
So to piggyback with what you're saying as well, I believe strongly that when you're dating someone, you need to see them through three emotions. Them very genuinely happy, them sad, and them go through tragedy. So sad actually ties into sad and stress. Sadness and stress could simply just be, we're going on a road trip together for the first time and we're stuck in traffic. Tire pops, run out of gas, how they handle that situation. And then for my life, losing my father is a tragedy. The biggest tragedy in anyone's life is going to be a loved one. How they handle that. Are they going to lean into you emotionally or pull away from you emotionally? And at the same time, if they lean into you more, you have to also have boundaries for that, I think, because you don't want them moping around and they can't do anything. So you're doing everything for them. You want to be a support system, but you don't want to fall into a negative support system.
Yeah, this ties back to the codependency you used before,
Yes.
because I would say another lesson I learned, and a very important one, is that we are not responsible for anyone else's feelings or emotional experience. We affect each other, obviously, but it is a choice in how you respond.
Yeah.
And if you are in a partnership with someone who goes through, I would probably use the word hardship over tragedy, because you could be with someone 20 years and they could not lose anyone.
Exactly.
And you're not waiting to have them lose their parent to know if you're a good fit for each other, right? Like, but they could go through a hardship with like work or relational,
losing a job, yes.
Short friends, moving things, absolutely. So a hardship. Emotional support is obviously crucial for the longevity of a relationship, being able to emotionally support each other. But there has to be a little bit of space where you know that they can sort of pick up the pieces. You can be there with them to hold their hand, but you can't really fix anyone's problem.
Exactly.
And you also can't save anyone. So I think that's kind of where maybe you're using the word boundary, but like a little bit of the space comes in. You're there for them when they need it, but you're there to hold their hand, but you let them stand up when they're ready.
Good analogy. I don't think you could say it much better than that. But yeah, holding hands, but stand up for yourself. And that is my brand, Single and Hungry Club, balance. That's my balance to me. I'm part Chinese, so that's why I love Chinese philosophy. And the way things are said and how the way stories are told very eloquently with extended thought, for lack of a better word, in it. Like they make you think past the standard or past what's even said. Makes you think more. So I like that analogy a lot.
Oh, can I talk about balance?
Please.
So I have feelings about this.
Okay. Can you do a pistol squat? Random question, but I like to throw wrenches in there.
Is that with one leg in your
standing pistol squat? Can you do one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have good balance, but continue.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. I did a lot of squats this morning. So I used to think in terms of qualities that a partner has, that I needed to be with someone who balanced me out.
Okay.
Right? I'm very opinionated. I'm chatty. I'm outgoing. I'm an artist. I'm very expressive. And I thought I needed to find someone who was quieter and more reserved
Interesting.
and maybe didn't open up as much and was more traditional in certain ways because it balanced us out. I decided that I don't want balance in my life anymore. I really like who I am. And
So you want chaos?
no, because I'm not chaos.
Okay.
But I want someone who's more like me,
Okay.
not who is these like yin and yang qualities because we balance each other out. It really depends on what your qualities are, right? Like there are parts of life where it is good if someone is a planner and someone is the more spontaneous one. You both can't be like, let's fly to Japan tomorrow.
And
Like
then be sitting on the curb trying to get a hotel while you guys already landed because
Right.
both are the same dynamic. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there is some like balance in there. But I think that it's very common for people to find someone or seek out someone who's really different from them from a place of shame or lacking self-love.
Okay.
Because they're rejecting parts of themselves and they're finding someone who compensates for the things they think they don't have or they need.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, I told you I want to go deep. Yeah.
I'll get the shovel out.
So this was a lesson I learned in my marriage ending too, was that I learned to really love myself and choose myself. And then when that happened, I realized that I just wanted to be with someone like me and life could feel like a fun party. 'Cause that's how I feel.
Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah, I'm about that too. I definitely don't want a partner that we can have our differences. It's normal. It's healthy. You go do your thing. I go do my thing.
Yes.
But my parents, for example, were introvert. My mom is an introvert. My father's an extrovert. And that was an interesting imbalance growing up to witness that. Like they worked, but my dad was a chatterbox. And I have aspects of both my parents. And I see the advantage of my dad knew everything that was going on because he talked to people. And then my mom would just be the quiet one observing. Now, since my father has passed, my mom talks. But my dad, for the lack of a better word, his personality was just so big. My mom seemed smaller. And it was smaller, but it seemed way smaller because my dad's personality was the sun and my mom's was the moon. So that was very interesting dynamics too in relationships, and they worked and they're cohesive, especially after 30 plus years. You get used to it and you figure out dynamics too, healthy or not. You still learn to coexist, but I don't really want to coexist in a relationship. I want to exist on an even plane.
Yeah.
Coexisting is the roommate type shit.
Yeah, which I think is really common for people. I think it's really
Sadly.
common. Yeah. But I also like to think that just because I want something doesn't mean that's what other people want. And there are some people who really appreciate that balance. And if that's your jam, if that's what works for you, that's great. But if you're feeling like you keep gravitating towards these partners that are the opposite of you and you're not enjoying it and you're in the same cycle again and again and again, then maybe you got to look at some like shadow parts of you, or you need to accept more of yourself and you won't be in those like loops of those dating loops anymore.
And so you feel like you're out of the dating loop phase of your life?
Well, I meant more the loop of like dating people who are kind of like
Not-
the same, and
Okay, gotcha.
it's not what you want to be with.
Understood.
Yeah. But that is actually another thing I went through, which is the last couple of years really changed my type.
Okay, interesting. So
It's
let's
very
talk about your
interesting.
type.
Okay, so
Tell me about your type.
okay, well, I don't really know how to answer this question, but
Do any of us really know? We're going deep here, guys. So
yeah, I think a lot of people actually don't really know what they want and what they like.
while you think about it, I'll have a quick story. Dating a girl during COVID, and she just asked me, "Do I have a type?" I said no. She's like, "No way, everyone has a type." I was like, "No, I really don't have a type." And then she kept pestering me about it. She's like, "Well, who are you attracted to? What are your celebrity crushes type thing?"
Okay. Well, I would say if your partner ever asks what's your type, just say you are
No, that's a good question.
and leave it at that.
I think I even said that, and she wasn't. She really. This is early on in the dating, so was really trying to get to know me. And for some reason, that was like the major question out of 4 that she wanted to know.
Okay, so my type of 4 was probably men who were quieter and not quite that emotionally available. But I wasn't really conscious of this, right? That's kind of what we were saying before. Like people might not know what their type was. I don't think I was conscious of this. I just was attracted to a certain type, and then, carbon copy of that's who I dated.
Okay.
And I think I was in a lot of situations where things were kind of confusing, or they weren't clear, or there was like a push and pull. And then in the time between, the last couple of years, that's completely changed for me. Everyone I've dated has been super into me, made it really clear, very obvious how they feel, very good communicators, very talkative, social, outgoing. And it's a delight. And it's also, I think, a good sign of growth when your type does change, especially after an
Ooh, good point.
unhealthy or like pretty unsuccessful relationship.
Okay, good point. So, yeah, you are in the realm of like understanding that you like the social butterfly that balances and more even keel with your personality.
Yeah, I mean, or is just supportive of it, right? Like, I don't
Mm,
want to be with someone who's like, oh my God, you're so busy and you're always doing stuff. Like, that's annoying. Either you're with me, you're out with me doing the things,
exactly.
or you're totally fine that I'm doing my own thing.
So this makes me ask, so I 100% agree with that because I'm social. I do a lot of networking and business things outside of my day job that involves talking to a lot of people. And I guess it's making me ask you, how do you feel about male-female relationships?
Like friendships?
Friendships, yes.
Okay. I mean, I really like hanging out with guys. I have some male friends. Some of them are partners of my female friends. Some of them are not. They might be in more of like the, acting creative world. I think as long as you have, I guess this is where I would use the word boundary. You have some type of boundary up, right? Because
Yes.
if you're physically attracted to someone, you have some chemistry, you get along, it's definitely the ingredients for a potential relationship or some like an intimate relationship or for something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say if you have all of those three in a friendship, you just need to have
Healthy boundaries.
you'd have healthy boundaries. Yeah. And if elements of those are missing, then fine with that. All I know is I don't want to be with someone where I'm worried about their female friends. Like I just don't want to be in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And I have had that before where I'm like, oh, I don't know about that person. We're probably not right for each other
Mm-hmm.
because I also don't want to tell anyone what to do. I don't want to be like going through someone's friend list and thinking of how their relationship has to change. Like you figure that shit out and then we can get together.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be like cleaning up someone's leaky energy for them. That's their responsibility.
There's some point where you should merge friendships. We're adults, we're very busy. Your friends should meet your partner after a certain point and vice versa, especially if they're of the opposite sex. Because everyone has insecurities, everyone has jealousy. I prefer someone in a relationship that can handle it better, more maturely, more so with boundaries and communication. But there's also a duty of mine to introduce them and show the comfort levels and say, hey, my friends are your friends. If you guys don't get along afterwards, well, that's a whole nother thing. But this is who this is. You should meet them, so on and so forth.
Totally. I think we're talking about something bigger too, which is just not keeping secrets or keeping things
Mm-hmm.
private, right? You want to be able to merge your life. You don't want to have sex of your life, sex, SECTS.
CTS.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Of your life that have to be separate. You want to be able to blend and merge and have everyone, have it be cohesive. Obviously, people, some people might not get along and you can work that out. But yeah, I agree with you that your friends, if you're a guy, you should introduce your female friends to your partner. But I also think that if you have parts of your life where if your partner walked into your life tomorrow and you'd have to make a million changes, you're probably not really ready for a partner. Not that everyone has to be completely ready and completely healed for a relationship. I don't think that's true. We very much can work on our problems and our challenges and heal within a healthy romantic relationship. But if you are like a woman and you've got like a bunch of male friends and they like you and you're like hanging out with them all the time, like I think you need to like clear that shit up before you invite a partner in because it's going to create a really weird dynamic.
So the word that I'll use for that is prioritization.
Okay.
So your friends are obviously a priority, but I think a partner is more a priority. Like I talk about balance and such, but that's the biggest place where imbalance should occur is prioritization. Your partner comes before your friends. How they feel. If it's, for example, if it's my boy's birthday party, it's been planned, we bought tickets somewhere, so on and so forth, but my partner isn't feeling well that day, or they got laid off from their job, or it's a hardship for them. I'm not going to go to the birthday party, even if my partner probably says, hey, go. And again, your partner, you're going to be able to read them better. You should be able to read your partner and be like, nope, you're right. I'm going to stay. So that's imbalance of prioritization. Or I might have said that backwards, but making who matters in your life a priority.
I don't know if I totally agree.
Which is fine.
I think that it really depends. For me, it depends on the level of closeness I have with the friends. I mean, I've had friends for 15, 20 years where their opinions are extremely important to me. But I also don't have friends who would give like unsolicited opinions. Like all of their perspectives are in my highest.
regard.
Yes, exactly. So I see it less of like a hierarchy and more of they're all important. My friends are important, my family, my partner's important. And how do we make this all work? Like, yes, if push comes to shove, like, right, there's two events on one day. I would need to figure out like what the most important thing is or, what the right thing is to do. But I actually think it's an issue in our culture where we prioritize our romantic relationships so much that we reject other aspects of our lives. And I do think
I
that's
don't believe in that.
What?
Prioritizing the romantic relationships more so than other aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
It should be more of a balance. But I'm interested in how you would prioritize even the example I gave.
I'd probably go to the birthday party.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it really depends, right? If I had a partner who was like a fucking mess because something horrible happened, then I wouldn't go to the birthday party. But like if they were having a rough day, they can have a rough day and work through it, and I can go to a birthday party that I committed to with my friends.
Yeah, and that's the communication of setting aside a time even later for a rough day.
Totally. Like maybe I change my plans the next day and we spend the day together. Yeah, I was thinking more of people who start to pull a lot of attention away from their friendships because they have a romantic partner and they're never free and they don't want to get together. They only want to get together when their partner is busy or out of town. Like that's just a recipe for disaster. It's going to catch up with you.
And you did say earlier that you do like attention, so you have to be.
Lots of attention.
Can we get a little glow?
Yeah, I'm an actress. Yeah, I do like attention, but that doesn't mean I want to be with someone who doesn't have a life. I don't want that at all. Like have your responsibilities in your life and your interests, but then when we're together, I would expect them to be present with me.
Got you. Okay. Let's see. I think I have another topic stirring in my head, which is dating someone that has, I don't know, maybe health issues. This is a topic between things that have been going on in my life and people around me. So like dating someone that goes to therapy regularly. I know you're gonna have a healthy answer for that, but let's go with like.
I might surprise you.
She may.
I am going to surprise you.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'll have a good perception of you, but like dating someone with maybe health issues starting off that are minor.
Seasonal allergies? No.
Wait, we'll say that
No,
again?
I'm kidding. I said seasonal allergies. No.
If you're allergic to anything, no, red flag.
Only I can have allergies.
Again, star. All lights on her.
You're making me sound bad.
I'll edit this. You'll sound good. You can sound good.
Okay, I'm going to take this back to more general. I see the direction we're going in.
Yes,
all right. So if someone okay, first of all, let's talk about like just taking care of yourself, right? We're talking about like health in general.
Yes. That's important too.
What's important to me is to be with someone who takes care of themselves. Taking care of yourself is different for everyone. For some people, that means lifting weights 5 days a week. For other people, it means going for walks and getting outside in nature. For other people, it's eating really well and getting enough sleep and drinking plenty of water and not drinking that much alcohol, right? Whatever treating yourself well, taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit looks like to you, if you keep that promise to yourself, that energy emits, and that's going to affect your partner as well. I have dated someone who didn't take very good care of themselves, and that was also a deal breaker because over time I was seeing that we were hitting a point where because he wasn't taking great care of himself, he wasn't able to take great care of him. And then in terms of therapy, my opinion on therapy is, well, I don't do talk therapy anymore because I don't find it to be helpful.
I don't find it to be helpful either.
Yeah.
For me personally. So in the dating realm, guys, women, it's in people dating profiles. Swipe left if you don't go to therapy. I do therapeutic things. So that's how I live.
Yeah.
I do therapeutic things. So yes, I'm a big support of therapy, but what works for you?
Listen, I've done ayahuasca. I've done meditation retreats. I've done somatic healing. I've done cacao. I've done all the things, right? And what I think is important is that someone has a growth mindset and that they are interested in healing, which that is part of life. Part of life is there's a duality of life, right? The joy and the fun and the healing and the pain, like both can coexist at once. So as long as I'm with someone who is growth oriented and is interested in healing,
Preach.
we're going to be fine. And they can do whatever modality works for you. I don't really give a shit. Talk therapy, I think, is this like buzzword, but also this trap that people get into. I dated someone who was like, I've been going to therapy for 10 years. And I was like, it's not
Doesn't
showing.
show.
Yeah.
It doesn't show.
What do you guys talk about? I don't want to be with you why are you going to therapy for 10 years?
Now, I support talking as a therapeutic. I still support talk therapy.
Yeah.
But I support it more so in the way of being vocal about things. So a lot of men, for example, we talked about it here that we happen to be recording in the cigar lounge. A lot of men internalize emotion. So that's my supportive way about it, is getting it out and talking to someone. And maybe that is normal talk therapy if it works for you. And at certain moments in your life, I don't think someone needs to be in therapy for 3 to 5 years, talk therapy, unless it works for them and is beneficial. But don't, not knowing me and judge me, say, well, you're not in therapy. How did you, and then maybe not even ask me, how did you manage the traumas in your life and stuff like that?
Right. How do you work through problems?
Yes. How do you work through problems? How do you work through issues? So me personally, I'll answer real quick. I like, what's my boy? I like DIY. I like drawing. I like being outside in nature. Marketing that I do on the side for here at the Cigar Lounge, so on and so forth.
So creative,
being creative,
connection, community.
Exactly. Music, anything creative. I was taking voice lessons.
I agree with you. I think that people are just looking for the yay or nay, and then they want to move on.
When it's deeper than that.
It's way deeper than that. And, you know, you can have a therapist you meet with 45 minutes a week, or you can have real community and be a part of something bigger, right? Like you grew up here, but you also know everybody.
Me?
And yeah, the guy behind you. Yeah, you know everybody. And that I think is more valuable than going to a therapist for 45 minutes and not having like a larger community. I also really believe in, like my very, very close friend, she has a partner who is a therapist, and her approach to therapy is about group settings. I'm going to mess up this terminology, but I think it's about like decolonizing therapy. And she's Brazilian and really believes in healing in community, healing together, and how individualized therapy can only get us so far. But like healing in front of other people and with other people reduces shame. It makes things relatable. It takes your problems from, you know, being inaccessible to solvable.
Okay.
And so I think that, yeah, if someone has community, they have people that they can go to.
It's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic, exactly.
Escapes from reality or escapes for things while also being able to lean on them for things. The Cigar Lounge here, that's what we talk about too, is community. You come in here and you shoot your shit, smoke your stick, as they say, and you're able to...
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's really the terminology. It's new for me. My dad was a cigar smoker, but he never called a cigar a stick. But that's the terminology I'm hearing in here, which is interesting. But yeah, it's community, people that's needed more so than sometimes just talking to a therapist. That's a job for them. It's not a job if it's your community.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on therapy. Talk therapy to me is therapy light, Lite. And I think it's a really good intro into getting into therapy. And, you know, every person is on their own journey. And that doesn't mean everyone is going to be doing ayahuasca and stuff like that, or not that everyone should, right? It's like you get the call to do it, you're ready, whatever. But think that talk therapy keeps a lot of people in their heads and they're not processing their feelings. Your feelings are meant to be felt. Feel it. Literally in the word. Feel your feelings. If you're in your head intellectualizing your feelings, you're not really processing and working things out. You're understanding and figuring things out, but that doesn't mean you're able to move through them. And I think that's how people can get stuck in years of therapy. I think the other issue with talk therapy is the way our system is structured. You are booking sessions on one-offs. Yes, you can find a therapist, right? Which everyone knows it's tricky to find someone who's a good fit for you. So if you invest, you find someone who works for you after a month, you'll probably want to stay with them. But I think that because a therapist can only book you on each individual appointment, right? That's how insurance gets charged, or if you're paying out of pocket, if you're out of network. A therapist is I think, not going to push all that hard because they can't. Because if they do and you're not ready for it, you won't come back. Whereas if you sign up for like a program and you work with a life coach or you do somatic healing, they lock you in for 3 months and you've paid for 3 months and they can be like, here are all of your fucking problems. And you're here, the financial aspect, and you're here for 2.5 more months and you need to deal with it. Whereas if a therapist, I've known plenty of people who've been like, and my therapist said XYZ. And I've been like, your therapist's right. But then they quit their therapist because it like hit their ego. Yeah, that's how I feel about.
That's good and deep. And what is your biggest way to self-therapize? You're number one. You're creative, you're talented, you're an actress. What is your number one therapeutic self-alignment?
Yeah, I definitely get energy from people. Just being around people, like I find the light in them and that helps me find my light if I'm missing it. But I would say my 3 go-tos are physical movement exercise, silence, some type of meditation or breathing. And the third would be creating. So something artistic, whether that is writing, I'm working on a project now, whether that is rehearsing for something, doing a self-tape, like whatever is going on, but creating. So it's not about me, moving my body. I'm not thinking, and then getting quiet, letting answers come to me.
Nice. Mine are, number 1 for me is running or some type of physical fitness activity. Number 2 for me is going to be the complete opposite. Easy bum mode, Netflix binging, all my TV shows and movies. And that's a good way for me to disassociate and relax. And there's nothing better for me besides running or being active. And then the third would be, yes, anything creative, DIY. I have a dresser in my backyard that I thrifted from last year.
I love that. I love that. I think that it's very tempting to feel like you need to figure things out when you're stressed and to be in your head thinking and overthinking and journaling and writing and the pro-con list. But a lot of times we release and the answer comes to us when we take our attention off of that thing, right? I mean, it's kind of like going back to the beginning of our conversation with dating too. Yeah. You take your hyper focus off finding the person for you, finding your soulmate, and you put it on you and you go find yourself and your own soul. And then it comes when you least expect it.
I mean, great way to wrap it.
Thanks.
You first, everybody. Everything else follows. You first. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks for listening to Caught Off Guard. If you connected with this episode, or even if you didn't, please subscribe and leave a review, but only a nice one. It'll really help more people find the show. You can find us on Instagram at Caught Off Guard Pod. See you next time.